Hello, good evening from Beijing. It is, what time is it here? It's like almost 11 at night. And I'm Tracy Lee. Some of you guys know me as the anti-Reiki girl or the 1358 chick or whatever it's being called these days. I am here in Beijing and just finished a audio only live broadcast to about what I found out was 4,000 people, all interested in learning about 1358 new energy systems and all the stuff that we're here talking about. And I want to recommend that if you have not watched my first video on entitled Understanding Why Reiki and Chakras Will Soon Be the Floppy Disks of Energetic Practices, I recommend you watch that video before you watch this one. But even so, I'm going to go ahead and do a brief overview or recap of what I'm talking about. What my message is here is encouraging people to reorganize their body's energy in a way that's not Reiki. And as I talked about in my first video, Reiki presents many problems. I'll go through them quickly because then I want to get into talking about the heart. And if you have more questions about that, like I said, check out the first video I made and it goes into more depth. The vibrations of Reiki are first of all too low, with the crown chakra vibrating at under 1,000 hertz, as to be attuned by how Reiki masters say you're supposed to do it or whatever. Reiki tunes the body into 7 separate sections, and it discourages harmony in the body by sectioning off your body into separate vibrations, when really we should be unifying the resonance of our body to a single vibration and trying to consistently raise that vibration over time to find resonances that exist in harmony, not just with the physical plane, but also with quantum reality and imaginary plane as well. And what I want to stress here is that there's a lot of people asking, where'd you get this number from, and what are the mathematics behind it? And I'm going to go out and say that I'm not going to share, I do have a background in mathematics, and I'm not going to share the details and the particulars of my mathematic channel and my calculations either live on Facebook, or I'm not going to publish them because it's already been stolen in one country, and the lady who stole it there trademarked it and told me not to speak of it in her country again. It was a very elite lady. So I'm going to keep the numbers and the math to myself and to be exposed at a later time. And I'm going to talk more about the philosophy of 1358 and the why and the how, as opposed to trying to justify or validate it, because that will all have to be done at a later point in time. But just so you know, it has been done. I have worked extensively with the numbers and the numerology and done very extensive calculations. And what we come out with at the end of the day is an energetic system that creates a harmony with physical or 3D reality, which I call the Fibonacci plane, vortex reality or quantum plane, which is motivated by Marco Rodin and vortex math, also used by Tesla. And then the third plane, which is with the imaginary plane, or like the dark matter plane. And what happens in 1358 is all 3 of these planes become unified in a single resonance, and we start to be able to have our bodies resonate across dimensions. And this is a really, really powerful thing when we start to realize that we have this little piece in our body that connects across planes. And what I call this piece in the body that stays underneath the navel area, I call it the NISE. And what's so powerful is you can all learn, even without me, you don't need to pay me anything, you can learn to activate, hi everyone watching too, you can learn to activate this NISE, you can learn to channel this energy all throughout your body. Then you can start to perfect using this energy and extend your fields to reach, for manifestation, for health, for love, for bringing whatever it is that you want to bring into your life. This human battery, every single one of you have it. And I believe that the energy contained within this battery is the same frequency of the energy that the Atlanteans used for their technology, for their healthcare, for everything. And if you look and you do a little research and you start looking at some of the richest and oldest people, like some of the Rockefellers, Rothschilds, and they seem to live like forever, you'll see a lot of photos, a lot of them taking their hands and putting them over this area. It's not some crazy Illuminati symbol or some evil symbol. These people know about this energy, and they all use it, and they use it for their benefit, but it's really sad that it hasn't been more widely circulated, more widely shared. So my goal here, and what I'm doing across the world, is teaching people how to activate this energy and circulate it through their bodies. And what ends up happening is we get energy from this battery, we circulate through our bodies, and then we can start to store extra little pockets of these energy, what I call these little energy pockets outside the body. Because what happens with the Reiki and the chakra system, with these stacked chakras, people keep charging their chakras or tuning their chakras or aligning their chakras. And then what happens is the chakra energy gets sucked really, really fast, because you're mixing 3D physical energy and physicality with something that's supposed to be highly charged and part of like another dimension that's not physical, and that physicality sucks the energy out of it. So it's actually better to learn to store the really high vibration energy in somewhere where we can access it when we need it, but not so that it's just always sucking us dry. And a lot of people who have Reiki, they feel great when they get off the table, and then they're like, well, it doesn't last. Yeah, it doesn't last because, first of all, you're taking energy from the Reiki healer. They're giving you their personal energy, and they're putting it in your chakras or your energy centers, and then your body is draining this energy and using it, and then you feel tired again. Then what? You have to go pay the Reiki master again and again and again to make you feel good? Well, that's bullshit, and excuse my language, but it is bullshit. And what I teach people to do is to activate this battery, or the NISI, beneath the navel, and learn to channel and activate your own energy. So a commonly asked question is, you know, Tracy, do we have to pay you to access this 1358? Or this is not about money. This is free. Energy should be free. Healing should be free. I teach people how to learn to heal themselves. Do I have a gift where I can channel energy and help others heal? Absolutely. But the long-term goal here is to teach people how to ignite their own self-healing process and to become their own healers. And this same kind of mentality can be used, I believe, for so much technology. It is being used around the world for secret technology and for anti-gravity, for healing, it's really limitless, the potential of it. But for right now, my goal is talking to people and helping you guys understand that this Reiki system and this chakra system is a vibrational prison. And it's put there by the people, by archons who want to control humanity and have your consciousness limited to a certain level, and have you attuned to their level and their frequency so they can suck your energy out of you, create fear through the reptilian cortex of your brain, which causes you to respond by fight or flight. You know, every time you're anxious, you're late for work, you have to pay a bill, you're in a fight with your boyfriend, fight or flight, constantly, all day, fight, flight, fight, flight. And what does that do? Lowers your vibration. Every time that happens, what happens? The archonic energy comes, it sucks the life out of you, sucks the fear, and this whole stacked chakra system continues to feed that. So what we have to do is reprogram our brains, deprogram the reptilian cortex of the brain, which causes us to constantly respond by fight or flight. And this 1358 is more than frequency, okay? 1358 stands for truth, freedom, love, consciousness. 1358, truth, freedom, love, consciousness. There's detailed math that has gone into looking behind this, numerology channels, all that good stuff. But when you learn to implement this process and this continuum of truth, freedom, love, consciousness, we can over time learn to deprogram that reptilian cortex that keeps us in our vibrational prisons or our biological prisons, as Jared likes to call them. And so what ends up happening is, once you understand that we can unify the resonance of our body, and we don't have to have 16 chakras or 8 chakras or 7 chakras or 274 chakras. You don't need any chakras. You just need your human battery, because that battery came directly from source. We all came from source, and that means we all have a little bit of source in us, and we can light that fire of source within ourselves and expand it through our bodies, and we can make it extremely powerful. And we don't need chakras to do that. And that's why I say we don't need chakras anymore. But what happens when we start adopting the system is you can start to look at the human body differently, start to see sickness differently, start to understand why we become sick, why different parts of our body ache. And it's not just the heart represents love, or what else, or that the solar plexus or the sacral chakra represents sex. It's not like that. When we look at everything in terms of being an issue of either truth, freedom, or love, every issue is either an issue of truth, freedom, or love, period. And I've spent hours and hours and hours looking at various sicknesses, and it all boils down to something that simple. And that's why I wanted to make this video today about the human heart, because I've had so many clients over the last 6 months come to me telling me they have heart palpitations and heart issues, or anxiety in their chest, or tightness in the chest, tension in their chest. And the heart, the lungs, the muscular, the whole skeletal system, all of these organs, I believe, are connected to what I call the freedom cluster of energy, or the number 3. And in my opinion, freedom is the absence of control. And so what I believe people are experiencing when they have these palpitations in their heart is temporal displacement. okay? And what I mean by temporal displacement doesn't have to mean like weird time travel stuff and whatnot. But what it does mean is that you're either projecting your consciousness too far back or too far forward. And consciousness, when it's not aligned, your consciousness when not aligned with your physical body, you can start to experience illness and discomfort and physical problems. And usually what happens, a lot of times what's happening with people with these temporal displacements, you spend so much time removing your consciousness from the present moment, thinking back into the past or having regrets or worrying about the future or a bill that you can't pay or having anxiety, as opposed to living in the present moment and being in the now. And so in this way, I believe that the heart it's a control issue. People who try to, people who have regret about the past or have control issues about the future. All right. Freedom is the absence of control. We have to learn to practice acceptance. And when you practice acceptance, we can live in the now and have what I call temporal alignment within your heart. And when you have temporal alignment, your consciousness or your spirit becomes aligned with your physical body. And that way you don't feel this pulling sensation. That's why we get tightness in our chest when we're anxious, because you're being pulled into the future, right? Your consciousness is feeling pulled into the future. What's going to happen? How am I going to pay? What's he going to say? What's this? What's that? That's pulling. That's temporal displacement. It's not, the heart is not all about love. Yet people say like love from the heart or grief from the heart. And I've seen all these beautiful diagrams about, the chakras, and this one represents love, and this is the crown chakra, and the sacral is, sex, or, this and that. Bullshit. Love is contained to the heart. Love is an energy of acceptance that's supposed to permeate evenly throughout everything. It's supposed to be everywhere, not just in the heart. So we need to take a closer look at what this heart really is. And if you're having these issues with the heart, you have more questions about this, contact me, shoot me a message. It's probably at least 6 clients in the last 6 months that we've helped. I've helped them to learn to heal their hearts and heal these palpitations. And I've had people, they go to doctors, they have stress tests, spend all the money on all these kind of tests, and they can't find anything wrong with them. And then blood pressure medication. You should not be on blood pressure medication. First of all, you can learn to monitor your own blood pressure through your own intent and through breathing exercises. And this is all part of this energetic system and learning to monitor your energy also. I know there's a lot of things I want to blab about and talk about. 1358 in China, it's a 4-day course, and it takes 4 days to get all the way through all the material. Recently, I've had a lot of people interested in wanting to do training with me on 1358. But really what it all starts with, you don't have to understand every single detail to access the energy. All right, I'm telling you all right now, you can start yourself. All right, take your hands, put them together, place them over your navel, and ask the universe, ask source, ask whatever it is that you subscribe to for energy, or to help you figure out how to awaken or charge this battery. All right, and this is your energy, this is yours. And for all the light workers going around saying that they can activate your Merkaba or upgrade your Merkaba, this is complete bullshit, okay? First of all, I don't believe in Merkaba. Merkaba is a fallacy because I don't believe that anything exists in perfect symmetry. And if you look at the mathematical definition of what a Merkaba is, it's a shape that has, it's as above, so below perfect symmetry. And I don't believe that anything in a universe that's constantly moving can ever exist in this state of perfect symmetry. And anyone who's ever had an experience with the NISE, you can ask Tracy Alexander. She just wrote on Skype when she did hers. They see it, they feel it. This thing that we have, it's not a freaking Merkaba that looks like a sphere inside a bunch of prisms or whatever these stupid pictures are that are circulating around. It's not that. It's, and I've had so many people describe it, it's an asymmetrical golden ball of light. And there's really no color that can properly describe it. But this is yours. Only you can activate this. I can't activate this for you. The person has to activate it. So any light workers going around saying that they can activate Merkabas or upgrade, that's bullshit. Okay, this is your personal energy from source that you have to learn to activate and deal with. And when you learn the power of this energy and what the potential of it is, and for healing, for growing, for manifesting, for creating, it will completely change your life. As opposed to drawing energy from external, having a healer send you energy, which is fine. It's great. I do it too. I love sharing energy and helping people. But consider that like a jump start. It's a start. It's like a charging your battery. But you have to learn to charge your own battery from within and spread outwards, as opposed to constantly grabbing from the external And that's what a lot of you guys are doing, and where the mistake is made. And a lot of you maybe have seen me post about Roy Rife and ask questions about it. Look up this guy, because he, in the 20s, they broke into his lab, stole his stuff after he died, and burned all of his work. But he had a whole list of frequencies that he called mortal oscillatory resonances, which is MOR. And different types of cancer and the frequency at which those cancer would dissipate if you sent like a beam. Kind of like an opera singer will go, oh, and burst a glass. That's what Roy Rife figured out, which frequencies you could send to cancer. And there's many different people around the world recreating Rife machines. That's part of what I do with my work too, is I energetically create these frequencies to help send those frequencies to people's sicknesses and help burst them or dissipate them. And this is being done all around the world. It's been done in civilizations before us. They did it in Atlantis. It's being done now. It's being recreated. And if you look at these lists of frequencies, these MORs, they're all, especially for cancer, they're over 1,000 hertz. And that means that with the Reiki system, which goes up to around the 900s, you can't vibrate at that level and protect yourself or shield yourself from something that vibrates at 1,000 hertz. We have to learn to vibrate higher, or else we're just tuning ourselves to be receptive or, excuse me, I just talked 90 minutes now, I'm talking to you guys, but or susceptible hosts for cancers. So we have to do better. We have to learn tonic energy that put that reptilian cortex inside your head to respond to fight by flight. Yes, it feels good for a minute, but it's first of all, it's not self-activating, it's not long-lasting, and it doesn't vibrate high enough. Jared says it's a cheap high. It's a very cheap high. Reiki's a very cheap high, and we got to put this stuff to an end. So that's my information for tonight. Think about what I said about the human heart representing freedom, which is an absence of control. And when the heart's open and free and we learn to live in the moment, we become temporarily aligned, meaning we're not projecting our thoughts or our consciousness too far in the future or too far back. So again, those are my thoughts for tonight. Feel free to post questions under the video and I'll get to as many of them as you can. If you want to book a session, visit www.area1358.com. Thanks so much for your time and for watching and consideration, and much love to everyone. Thank you.